All right, guys, about to jump into the first round of a 8th edition draft with our ramp slash ensnaring bridge deck, which is kind of a weird combination, but I think it can work out. We have some lower curve strategies that can win us the game if we need to rely on our bridge or our story circle, and we have some ramp strategies that we can just destroy our opponent with like a, I don't know, a turn 5 Thorn Elemental, things like that. This is not a good hand though, so we will be mulliganing it. This, I guess, is a keep. It isn't super attractive, but we do have a rod and a creature. I think we keep it. And I think we'll put that on top. It's a little hard to say. I mean, it can get us the blue that will then we'll be able to cast Dehydration. But maybe it's not really what we want right now. If we had one of our big haymakers in our hand, yeah, I think I do put it on the bottom, sadly. Most of the time, I think we want Rampant Growth, but I don't think we did there. I mean, I guess it would give us something to do on turn 2. And the chances are okay that we draw into something. So maybe scrying it to the bottom wasn't great. Okay, our opponent also green. Also maybe a ramp deck. All right, well, I would have liked a rampant growth more than drawing another land, I think. So maybe that's what I should have gone with. So our opponent can drop like a trained Armadon right now. Okay, not the most exciting card that our opponent just played, so I feel okay about it. All right, that is a good 3-drop. I'm going to go ahead and play Forest right now. I think I play the Badger first. It can block both of them and kill them. The troops can only block one of them, but yeah. So we're going to take 2 here. Maybe our opponent got Elvish Champion, or is it Elvish Champion? I think that's the invasion block one. It's, well, Horn Troll's annoying. Well, we got our blue without our rampant growth, so that's good. I think we play our Badger. It'll keep 2 of his creatures at bay. And it can actually block Horn Troll too because it gets bigger when it blocks. I was thinking it was when it was blocked, but it's when it blocks. So it's pretty good right now. Unless our opponent removes it immediately with Pacifism. All right, we take 4 here. Don't mind seeing another Elvish Pioneer. So I think here we drop Elfhame Palace. And then we play our standing troops. That pacifism's brutal. I wish we had one of those. So we can play Rod of Ruin next turn and start picking off the little guys, but we can also just block them now, which is what we'll be doing. If he has another pacifism, we're going to be pretty sad, but okay. So we're just going to block the Horn Troll. Take 1 here. There's our bridge. Doesn't do us a whole lot of good right now, but it will eventually, I think. For now, I think we just drop down our rod. We can use it to finish off a Horn Troll or a Norwood Ranger in the coming turns, so that's pretty good. And obviously it can pick off the Elvish Pioneers. It can become our win condition once we have our bridge in play too, which may be our plan. Well, that causes a problem with our plan, doesn't it? We do have removal, but we got to get it. All right. We block. Drawing all lands is bad when we have our bridge. We can use our rod now to keep it from preventing damage. This healer from preventing damage. And I could play the bridge, but it still won't accomplish a whole lot, and I don't want to forecast that I have it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and use the rod right now so that I can at least kill one of these. Because he may very well have the Elf Lord, which would be very good against us. Soon our bridge will be able to lock that down, of course, but not yet. So we will take down the Pioneer. And I'll end the turn. I don't know that, do we have a way, I'm trying to remember if we have a way to actually kill Master Healer if he never attacks, and I'm not sure we do. Pacifism number 2. Now Samite Healer. Okay. Well, it's going to be hard to win with our Rod of Ruin, but we can drop our bridge soon and slow our opponent down at least. So we're going to block here. Go down to 10. Okay, well, we drew a good blocker too, so that's good. So I think here we go ahead and drop our spider. Can help us kill creatures with flying, but that doesn't do us a whole lot of good right now. Can I play a land? No, I already played one. Too bad, because actually being able to block and then nope, it would still prevent. He can prevent up to 5 damage right now. We saw that Master Healer, and I was like, I don't think I was firmly in white yet, so yeah, I didn't think about it. So, but for now, so we can deck our opponent in this game. He drew before we did, and that may sadly have to be our strategy, depending on how things develop here. If we get like our Thorn Elemental soon, yeah, Moss Monster definitely makes me want to go with the decking my opponent's strategy. The bad news about the decking the opponent's strategy is that our opponent can side in extra cards in game 2, but we don't have to win with Ensnaring Bridge. It's just how things have ended up in this particular game. So we're going to drop our bridge. Then we're going to drop our Armadon. You know, this would be ideal in a world where our Rod of Ruin would actually do something. But right now it's not going to do anything. So we're just going to hang back. Hope our opponent doesn't have a way to blow up our Ensnaring Bridge or another way to kill us. All right, that is just a creature, so I'm not overly concerned. And I will play this land, and I'll end my turn. That has to be pretty boring to watch, but it's if you're drafting 9th edition, keep in mind that this is a way to win because of the olden days of Magic when the bridge was... Cards like Ensnaring Bridge were printed, and they do really make a draft format unfun, and I wish I wasn't having to win with it. But we do have a Rod in play. Like, you know, if only our opponent hadn't played a million creatures who prevent damage. But he did, so... All right. We will play our Giant Worm. We will end our turn. We can start using Rod of Ruin just for fun, but I don't see any reason to do it because he has Master Healer and Samite Healer in play. Yeah, that Dryad would be a problem. Of course, we would be able to kill it with our Rod of Ruin too, so... Opponent down to 21. Cards, not life. He's still at 20. And we will play Sword Dancer. End our turn. I mean, we can play every card in our deck with all the mana we have, so... Our hand's going to be empty forever unless our opponent has some way of bouncing cards to our hand or something like that. We get to see a lot of the cards in our opponent's deck with this strategy too, which isn't too bad. I think we leave the bridge in, even though it seems pretty likely our opponent... I mean, it may even be worth freaking drawing first with this deck. Always playing first, I mean. So, sadly, I wouldn't want to show him I have Story Circle normally, but we're going to here because we have to keep a card out of our hand, I think. So, I'm going to name... What do I want to name? I mean, chances are his green threats are going to be scarier than his white ones in the long run. I mean, he does have a flyer. I think I named green. Yeah, we're going to go with green. And we're going to play our land. If our opponent has a way to destroy an artifact, then we're going to be pretty sad. He may have one in his sideboard. Hey, this Enchantress is going to be like a 4/4. Yeah, look at that. Because it counts my opponent's enchantments as well. Every time he taps lands, I'm like, he's going to blow up my Ensnaring Bridge, and it's all going to be over. Hasn't happened yet, though. So we're going to play our Griffin. Our opponent also gets to see basically all the cards in our deck, too, is the flip side of that. Ooh, this is a strange place to be. This would take a card out of my deck. So I don't think we actually want to do it. I think he doesn't. His 1/1s aren't a problem if he swings with them. So I'm just going to keep this card in my hand. I kind of forgot about Rampant Growth. We have 2 more of them in our deck, right? That's kind of a problem. Actually, do we have all 3 still in our deck? That does kind of not makes it hard for us to keep the Ensnaring Bridge thing going potentially, but I think we'll probably be okay. We'll just have to see what happens. Yeah, I think we have all of them left in our deck. We put one on the very bottom though, so we know that the other one maybe elsewhere. What we want our opponent to do is thin his deck some so he can play our Rampant Growth, but eventually this Rushwood Dryad will be able to attack, but at least we have Story Circle, so we can stop that. This Angel will be able to attack, and we can only block it once at this point, once we have all 3 in our hand. But the Dryad we can at least prevent. So that's good news. If our opponent has a way of putting cards back in his library too, we're going to be a little sad. Glad I didn't cast that Rampant Growth. I almost did it mindlessly. Here's this guy. Yeah, I mean, he's not technically unblockable, so we can't win with him if we keep a card in our hand every turn. He can just block it once and kill it, so. This is a super exciting game for you guys, I'm sure. I'm glad Magic is more balanced now and they don't print cards like Ensnaring Bridge. Even though it's looking fairly likely that I win with it, it is like, you know, a fun sucker in basically every sense. Let's see if our opponent... Ooh, Blanchwood Armor. Alright, well that flyer will never be able to attack, luckily for me. The other one will be able to. Okay. So I think we hold on to the second Rampant Growth. We know the third one's on the bottom. I mean, I know we hang on to the second Rampant Growth, and we will. Our opponent can attack with a few things right now, but we have so much mana and we have Story Circle that I'm not super concerned. This Angel still can't attack, so we have our Sword Dancer plus Story Circle and all kinds of shenanigans, so... Ooh. Well, that's kind of annoying. We can only cast it once our opponent attacks, but at least we'll gain life from it. If he attacks with, say, his Angel here. He's not going to, though. Okay, there's Thorn Elemental. I guess I should leave as much white mana untapped as possible, actually. We have no reason to leave green untapped, so yeah, we'll drop our Thorn Elemental. Razorfoot Griffin, that can attack us. We do have our... I forgot we have this spitting thingy that can kill all his creatures with flying if we needed it to. I'm going to put Spirit Link on Razorfoot Griffin, I guess. And in my turn... What is it, a forest or any land? It's any land, so that's good. We do still have our blue card in our deck, so we don't want to be sacrificing our island. We'll play our Dryad. We'll end the turn there. Another troll for us. Is he considering attacking here? He is. Okay, I'm going to block with the spitting dude. I mean, if I use Chastise, it can turn off his other attackers. Okay, so in response to that, I'm just going to use Chastise, because why not? I mean, this just keeps his guy alive, but this gets rid of a card in my hand, makes it so fewer of his creatures can attack, takes me up to 13. There's really no good reason not to do it. So, I did it. Play another planes. Pass the turn to our opponent. This is a crazy board. See what our opponent discards. He's trying to keep from giving us information, which is a good idea on his part. And he hasn't. I mean, he's given us, he does have tons of creatures in play, but he's avoiding playing anything he doesn't need to play. So, Craw Worm. Come on down. This game is drawing to its end. Hopefully. So, we do still have Story Circle as a backup here, so at least we have that going for us. Alright, there's our dehydration. I will go ahead. I'll slap that on Master freaking Healer guy, because he is a serious problem. That is a good card for dealing with him that's in our deck. I'm happy it's in there, because he can only use his power once, his ability once. Alright. I'm going to draw Rampant Growth number 3 soon. Oh, what? Well, that includes my lands, so it's not the end of the world. So, that was a little scary, though, for a second. There was like, wait a second. Alright, he's trying to bring the pain here. Swing with everything he can. Oh, we can't block that, so I'm glad he didn't put Blanchwood Armor on it. I mean, we can use Story Circle to prevent it. And I think we're going to do that everywhere we can here. How is Story Circle worded? Okay, so... Alright, we're going to declare blocks first. Make sure... We do have to block as many of these lands as possible, and then we'll use Story Circle to prevent damage from green creatures. Alright, those are all blocked. I don't have to use lands to block them, but I'm okay with doing it. Vine Trellis can just go here, I guess. This spider can go here. This can go there. Oh, those are green creatures, actually. I may as well not waste blocking on them. So, white creature blocked. White creature blocked. I need a flyer to block that particular white creature. I wonder if our opponent has... No, he's tapped out. He can't have a trick or anything like that. Okay, and then... That doesn't need to block anything. And then I'm going to use... Oh, don't want you to block. Now we have to use Story Circle's ability in the next phase to prevent all the damage. I mean, I guess I might as well also just assign blockers who can block, especially if they can trade or do better than that. Oh, that can't be blocked. That's right. Okay. There's one land over here, huh? We'll just block that. Why not? And yeah. Okay. And then we're gonna go add white here. Choose that. Add white here. Choose this. And that's all we really need to do. That makes it, we're take 4 here. I mean, I guess I could also, just to be safe, use Sword Dancer's ability to make this smaller. And make the make something else smaller that I can't block. This, I guess, because it will assign combat damage to me. So, all right, that was a long and complicated blocking process. But we came out ahead in the end. Well, there's this Cloud Chaser problem, but here it's not that much of a problem because we can just blow up the pacifism. Gives us another creature, basically. And we end our turn. For a Tog, huh? There's our third Rampant Growth. We just hold on to it, pass the turn, and our opponent loses the game. All right. We were winning in time by a lot, but then our opponent's swinging on that last turn. I just had to be careful in case he had some trick. I don't know this format well enough to be like, well, he's probably got a way to know whether or not for sure he has a way to give a guy trample or something. Especially if it had been a white creature, that would have been awful. All right, I think we leave our deck the same. The Cloud Chaser has at least one target that isn't my stuff, so that's good. And yeah, I mean, the Rampant Growths are kind of a dis-synergy when I'm trying to mill my opponent, I guess. But hopefully I don't have to resort to that in all my games. I mean, Story Circle there probably would have been almost as good, and I could have been slapping my opponent with Thorn Elemental every turn, or at least once. You know, he could have blocked, like, thrown everything he had in front of it and still taken 7, of course, which wouldn't have been awesome. But our opponent probably citing in some artifact and or enchantment hate, and maybe citing in more cards into his deck. If he's doing that, then we don't really need to worry about Rampant Growth milling us, so we should take a look at what size our opponent's deck is, because that's a good idea against someone who has Ensnaring Bridge, you know, because that's how we won that game. We can also win with stuff like Rod of Ruin or smaller creatures, you know, getting in there while his creatures can't attack. It just, our opponent played all these annoying creatures who prevented damage that we couldn't deal with. Like Dehydration, which we eventually drew, was one way of dealing with it, which is good to know that we had that. But other than that, like Rod of Ruin gets shut down by that stuff. Too bad it's not like colored permanent or something. Anyway, our opponent is sideboarding, probably, as I said, doing some rather extensive sideboarding after what he saw. So I'll be back with you when Game 2 starts. All right, our opponent still has 40 cards in his deck, so that may make us want to do something different. But we have a double Rampant Growth hand with Thorn Elemental in it. So I think in this hand, this game, we're going to be a little more aggressive than we were in the last game. We're definitely keeping this one. We have the early... not early, but we have even Cloud Chaser. We can play Thorn Elemental turn 5, right? I mean, we do have to draw a couple lands in addition to grabbing a couple with Rampant Growth, but we also have a Giant Badger to play early, which is not bad. We'll drop the Growth, grab a second Forest with it. There's a Glory Seeker who is going to hit us at least once. I could play Vine Trellis instead, which will also speed up what we're doing. It'll allow me to play 2 Rampant Growths next turn. I think I will play the Trellis instead. Ooh, that's pretty strong right there. Pretty strong start. We will be taking 4. Luckily, we have Aven Cloud Chaser. I forgot we have that target as well. What am I leaning towards doing here? I think I'm actually going to blow up the Blanchwood Armor. And in the turn there. So next turn we can double rampant growth. Yeah, that thing is good against us, that's for sure. I probably should have traded there. It would have been a 2-for-1, I guess. Okay. So, we're going to rampant growth at least once here. Of that, I am certain. I could also get an island, which I guess would guarantee. But yeah, I'll get an island. And I can play Giant Badger here. Yeah, I think I will. Wait a second. 2, 3, 4, 5. Nah, way, man. Should be dropping the second rampant growth so I can drop Thorn Elemental next turn. So that is what I'll do. Rampant growth. And we'll grab Forest this time. Do I attack with my Cloud Chaser? I mean, I don't think I'm going to be blocking Glory Seeker with it. So yeah, I'll get in for 2 here. Opponent might be stuck on 3 lands, but this Rushwood Dryad does have us on a 7-turn clock. But if we can slam this Thorn Elemental quickly enough, we're going to be pretty happy. I was kind of scared of Blanchwood Armor right there. Okay, so now we can play it without having to tap down our dude. We're going to swing again with our Cloud Chaser. Take him down to 16. And then we'll play Thorn Elemental on turn 5, which is a little slower than I wanted to. We had to interact with our opponent some early, so we did. He may have Pacifism, which would be annoying and potentially game-breaking, I guess, for us. But hopefully he doesn't, right? Uh-oh. Nope, 4 mana. That's more than Pacifism. Okay, good. Okay, so we're going to swing with Thorn Elemental. He can't even kill it if he triple blocks, so we will do it. All right, he goes to 9. And then we're going to play out our whole hand, dropping Giant Badger and Trained Armadon as well. And we'll end our turn. For a Tog, okay. All right, now he can block it with everything, but he would lose everything, obviously. I think we attack with the Armadon as well here, because we're going to play our standing troops, which will help us block. So yeah, we'll attack with both. He has to block one of them. Okay, this is an interesting decision here. I can either kill these... Well, I'll only kill 2 of them. Because if I assign the combat damage as though he weren't blocked, I don't do damage to the creatures. That's one thing to keep in mind with Thorn Elemental. It's interesting, though, if he only wants to block it with 1 creature, because there's no reason for him to. I mean, I guess he makes me make a decision, but it's pretty clear to me that the decision would be hit you for 7, you know what I mean? So, okay. I'm going to make him sacrifice a forest. And yes, I would like it to assign combat damage as though it weren't blocked. Drops our opponent down to 2. He's got 3 blockers. 4 blockers, I guess, if he doesn't swing. Oh, I forgot to play my standing troops. That's embarrassing. But Thorn Elemental should kill him now, unless he kills him all of a sudden. I mean, he gets to assign the combat damage as though he weren't blocked, so. Okay, so here, we're going to block here, and we'll block here, and we'll go to 4, it looks like. Giant Growth will almost kill us, but doesn't quite do the job. All right, looks like we got this with our Thorn Elemental. We had 2 very different decks between the first 2 games. Game 2 was all about the ramp, and Game 1 was all about Ensnaring Bridge. So, all right, well, we won. We were, no surprise, the last to finish because of our Game 1 that took forever. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next round.